Hey, this will be the weekly review from BullWarriorStocks.com where we go over our Warrior charts for the week of May 10th, 2010. What you are looking at here is the email that we send out every Saturday morning, and what we do is pick out 5 chart setups, and then every Friday we come back and go over them, win, lose, or draw, and that way everybody can see how our selections did for the week. If you are interested in receiving these sorts of newsletters and emails, all you have to do is go to BullWarriorStocks.com, sign up. It's all free and you're ready to go. So like I said, this is the email that we sent out last Saturday. And this week we had a focus chart, TLAN, and what we had was a volume alert play on this one, and meaning we saw this huge volume. But the other thing to note was we sent an email out last Friday at right around 12:05, so we alerted this during the day because of the big volume, and you can see, or you will be able to see what happened. So let's start off there with TLAN, and once more, like I said, this was our volume alert for the week. Here's the hourly chart, and on this candle right here, if you look over at this part, look at the time, you can see exactly when we sent it out. But at this candle it was 12 o'clock and the price was right here. We'll say 0.027 when we sent out our email, and then from there it went up and eventually hit 0.05 or 0.0535 on Monday morning, and if you had played it from there, that was a 96% window, so a very big window. Now you didn't have to play it perfectly. Maybe you made 50% or 30%, but that was a nice little window there. And then if we go to our daily chart, you can see that when we talked about it on Saturday, we pointed out these two moving averages, the 10-day and the 50-day, talking about potential pullback areas. And we had a whole little article about it up here, so that's where we would mention that. So let's go back to the chart and see what happened on the daily chart, and let's keep our eyes on this 10-day simple moving average. So you can see this blue line here just represents what the chart looked like when I sent it out, just a reminder. So that first day, look right where it dropped down to. This blue line here is the 10-day simple moving average. So had you been waiting for a pullback right here, like we had pointed out in our chart, right there was at 0.032. And then you can see the next day it went up and hit a high of 0.05, and that move there was a 56% possible move. So had you gotten in down here around the 10-day, you had 56% to work with to make some profits. So maybe you made 20, maybe you made 30 or 40, or maybe even made the 50 on it. But bottom line was, had you waited here for the pullback like we pointed out in our chart, you had over 50% to work with in terms of making a win there. So our focus chart for this week was a big winner, whether you played it on Friday when we sent out the midday email or played it on Monday on the pullback. It was a winner for everybody. So our first email on the week was our pattern play, or excuse me, our first chart, CRXX. What we were looking at here was Fibonacci's, and we were hoping to get in right here around $1.48. Now usually we look for 5% win or a 5% gain in order to classify these as a winner. And with that being said, this one either was a no play or you got in, but we had kind of a few of these close ones, so we're just going to kind of bump up the price a little bit and show that you could have still made it in even if you had paid a little bit higher than what we had said. So on this one we had pointed out $1.48 right there, and the price never did quite touch it. Once again, this is what the chart looked like when I sent it out. You can see we had a gap up. It did drop down to as low as $1.51. We wanted $1.48. It never did go. But for argument's sake, let's just say you got in at $1.55. So now we've added 7 cents onto what we said, to look to get into. So even with a 7 cent addition to what we said, you can see that the price made a nice move today and hit a high of $1.79. So from $1.55 up to where it hit today, that was a 15.5% move. So a very nice chunk of change there could have been made. Just based on a $1.55 entry. You could have gotten in a little bit lower, but like we said, we wanted to say $1.55. So CRXX was a nice winner for us. Our next one was ITMN. This was our bottom bouncer play. And a little different, what we were looking for was the RSI 5 to break up through 30, and that would have given us our buy signal. So if that never happened, then there just wasn't a buy signal. And pulling up the chart, and looking down here at the RSI 5, you can see that throughout the week it just never got up to 30, so we never got a buy signal on this one. So this was just simply a no play for the week, as there is no reason based on the chart given us to buy. Our next one was KERX. This was our trend trading play, and essentially what these are, we look for stocks that are in uptrends, and you just want to go with the flow. The trend is your friend. And we also pointed out here down with the RSI 5, you can see that every time it had gotten down towards this current level, it seemed to make a nice move upwards. So let's see how we did for this one. So for this, we're going to say that you got in at the high right here. So as you can see, you could have gotten in even lower, but for our calculation's sake, we're going to say you just got in at $5.95, which is the top of this candle up here. So like I said, it did pull all the way back to 561, but we're going to say you got in at 5.95, and let's see how you would have done just going with the flow of the trade here. And then the next day, it went up and hit a high of 636. So based on a 5.95 entry up to 636, that was a 6.9% window of profit. So this one was another winner for us on the week. 6.9% in a couple of days, not too bad. And then our last one on the week was UNG. This was our pending breakout play. What we were looking for was a break of above $7.04. We got a few questions on this one this week on how you could have actually played it. Because there was a gap up and it never really started down here and then broke through it. It gapped above the resistance. So that's what we'll go over with this one. So like I said, this is what the chart looked like, and let's keep our eye on these moving averages, especially this gold line here. This is the 20-day simple moving average. So right here we did have a break above our key level, and the thing to note was we broke up above this support level here at the 20-day. So on this day, I wouldn't recommend quite getting in because we did have a gap up, but it's one of these things where let's see if this new support, being the 20-day, can hold. So right here, it did hold. It went down and hit the moving average, which was based at $7.19. So that's where we're going to base our calculation off of. But when you see, this moving average holding up strong like this, that's a good sign. And then you can see yesterday it went up and hit as high as 769. So from a 719 entry, that's a 7.1% move, and that one, once again, is another winner for us. So as you can see, we had a good week, but just one of these things where you always want to see if there's something that gaps up. If it gaps up just be above a moving average, then that's good because that was a previous resistance. It's now a support, and you can hopefully test and see if it holds. So this was yet another winner for us on the week. So as you can see, for the week we had 4 winners and then the one no play, and our TLAN, our focus chart, did real well for us. And like I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to get on the email list so you can start to get emails like this, all you have to do is go to bullwarriorstocks.com. You'll be sent a free the newsletter's free, and then you also get a free ebook, so it's a good deal, and you can unsubscribe whenever if you're not interested. But I'd encourage you to go to the website and check it out. If you do have any other questions, please let me know, but we'll be sending out 5 new Warrior charts tomorrow morning, so keep the lookout out for those, and enjoy your weekends.